Has he committed arson? Coronation Street spoilers follow. Coronation Street's David Platt is doubted by some of his closest family members next week after a suspicious house fire. Show bosses have confirmed that an arsonist is about to target number 8, leaving lives hanging in the balance. David is one of the top suspects in the whodunit plot following his recent financial issues. The fan favorite has become desperate to pay back gangster Harvey Gaskell after stealing money from him, so it's possible that he may start the fire himself in an insurance scam. On the day of the fire, David makes his excuses to avoid his sister Sarah's birthday party at the bistro, claiming that he'll be busy with a client. David then makes a call to Andy, his friend from prison, to arrange a time for their secret plan. That evening, David is nowhere to be seen when the alarm is first raised over the fire spreading through his home. By the time David reappears, Max Turner is trapped among the flames. David and his wife Shona watch on in horror as the house explodes. Max's lifeless body is pulled from the burning building and he's rushed off to A&E in an ambulance. At the hospital, Shona quizzes David about the fire as they anxiously wait for news on how Max is doing. David promises that he had nothing to do with the blaze and he was catching up with an old mate at the time it started. When DC Kit Green arrives and confirms that the fire is being treated as an arson attack, David declares that Logan Radcliffe must have been responsible. Accepting his share of the blame, David tells Shona that it's his fault they were seemingly targeted by Harvey's cronies and he wishes he'd never stolen the money. Later in the week, David's version of events is called into question again when Andy pays a furtive visit to the street. Todd Grimshaw spots Andy and explains to Sarah that he's an old prison mate of Paul's, who served time for insurance fraud. Sarah and Nick rush to track down David at the cafe, voicing their theory that he consulted Andy for his insurance scam expertise. Under police interview with Kit, and under pressure David insists that he was with Andy at the time of the fire. Andy refuses to corroborate this alibi, so Kit arrests David under suspicion of arson. Is he guilty? Coronation Street's producer Kate Brooks previously teased, "The story we're telling is one of a very desperate David, trying to protect his family and keep Harvey and his goons at bay. He is struggling to navigate that and struggling to pay back this big debt he has. He's struggling to protect his family. It all comes to a massive head in early February, when we play a massive stunt that has huge consequences for David. So in trying to protect everyone and do the right thing, he ends up losing quite a few things that he holds dear. Has he committed arson?" A deep dive into Coronation Street's David Platt and the suspicious fire. Coronation Street fans are in for a dramatic twist as the storyline surrounding David Platt intensifies. The beloved character finds himself at the center of a shocking plot involving a suspicious house fire that raises questions about his involvement. As the narrative unfolds, viewers are left to ponder, has David committed arson? The setup, a house in flames. In the upcoming episodes, the residents of number 8 are thrown into chaos when a fire breaks out, leaving lives hanging in the balance. The show's producers have confirmed that an arsonist is targeting the Platt household, and David emerges as one of the primary suspects. This development is particularly alarming given David's recent financial troubles, which have left him desperate and vulnerable. David's predicament stems from his dealings with the notorious gangster Harvey Gaskell. After stealing a significant sum of money from Harvey, David finds himself in a precarious situation, struggling to repay his debt. This desperation could potentially drive him to commit drastic acts, including setting his own home ablaze as part of an insurance scam. The day of the fire, alibis and accusations. On the fateful day of the fire, David concocts an excuse to avoid attending his sister Sarah's birthday celebration at the bistro. He claims to be busy with a client, but the truth is far more sinister. Instead, he makes a clandestine call to Andy, a friend from his prison days, to discuss their secretive plan. This raises immediate red flags about David's intentions. As the fire erupts, David is conspicuously absent when the alarm is first raised. His return to the scene is marked by horror as he and his wife, Shona, witness the devastating explosion of their home. The situation escalates when Max Turner, David's son, is trapped inside the burning building. The emotional turmoil peaks as Max's lifeless body is pulled from the wreckage and rushed to the hospital. The aftermath, questions and doubts. In the hospital, Shona confronts David about the fire while they anxiously await news of Max's condition. David vehemently denies any involvement, insisting that he was with Andy when the fire started. However, the arrival of Detective Constable Kit Green complicates matters further. The investigation reveals that the fire is being treated as an arson attack, casting a shadow of suspicion over David. In a moment of vulnerability, David admits to Shona that he feels responsible for the attack, believing that their troubles stem from his theft of money from Harvey. This admission adds layers to his character, showcasing his internal struggle and guilt. The plot thickens, a visit from Andy. As the week progresses, David's story begins to unravel. Andy makes a secretive visit to the street, prompting Todd Grimshaw to inform Sarah about Andy's past involvement in insurance fraud. This revelation leads Sarah and Nick to confront David at the cafe, suggesting that he may have sought Andy's expertise for an insurance scam. Under pressure from the police, David maintains that he was with Andy during the fire. However, Andy's refusal to support this alibi raises further suspicions. The situation escalates when Kit arrests David on suspicion of arson, leaving viewers questioning his innocence. The bigger picture, desperation and consequences. Coronation Street's producer, Kate Brooks, has hinted at the broader implications of David's actions. The storyline delves into themes of desperation and the lengths one might go to protect their family. David's struggle to navigate his financial woes and the threat posed by Harvey's associates creates a tense atmosphere that culminates in a dramatic climax. As the narrative unfolds, viewers are left to grapple with the moral complexities of David's character. Is he a desperate man pushed to the brink, or is he a calculating individual willing to risk everything for a chance at financial security? The consequences of his choices are set to reverberate throughout the community, impacting not only his life but also the lives of those he loves. The unraveling mystery. As the storyline progresses, the question of David's guilt looms large. The combination of financial desperation, a suspicious fire, and a questionable alibi paints a troubling picture. Whether David is ultimately guilty of arson remains to be seen, but one thing is clear: the fallout from this incident will have lasting effects on the characters and the community of Coronation Street. In the coming weeks, viewers will be on the edge of their seats, eagerly awaiting the resolution of this gripping storyline. Will David be exonerated, or will he face the consequences of his actions? Only time will tell as the drama unfolds in this iconic British soap opera. New characters in Coronation Street, a fresh wave of drama. As Coronation Street continues to evolve, the introduction of new characters brings fresh dynamics and storylines to the beloved soap opera. With each new face, the potential for intrigue, conflict, and emotional depth expands, captivating audiences and keeping them engaged. Here's a look at some of the latest characters making their mark on the cobbles. 1. Evelyn Plummer. Evelyn Plummer is a spirited and sharp-tongued character who quickly becomes a fan favorite. As the grandmother of Tyrone Dobbs, she brings a mix of humor and wisdom to the show. Evelyn is known for her no-nonsense attitude and her ability to cut through the drama with her witty remarks. Her backstory reveals a life filled with ups and downs, making her a relatable figure for many viewers. As she navigates her relationships with her family and the residents of Weatherfield, Evelyn's presence adds a layer of warmth and complexity to the narrative. 2. Nina Lucas. Nina Lucas is a young, vibrant character who embodies the spirit of individuality and resilience. As the niece of the late Aidan Connor, Nina arrives in Weatherfield with a passion for fashion and a desire to make her mark. Her character is defined by her strong sense of identity and her commitment to social issues, particularly those affecting the LGBTQ+ community. Nina's journey explores themes of acceptance, love, and the challenges of being true to oneself in a world that often imposes conformity. Her relationships with existing characters, including her budding romance with Asha Alahan, add depth to the storyline. 3. Corey Brent. Corey Brent is introduced as a charismatic yet troubled teenager whose arrival stirs up tension in the community. Initially seen as a charming and popular figure, Corey's darker side soon emerges, revealing a character grappling with issues of privilege, entitlement, and the consequences of his actions. His interactions with other young characters, particularly Asha and Nina, lead to dramatic confrontations that challenge their values and beliefs. Corey's storyline serves as a commentary on the complexities of youth and the impact of peer pressure.